The story begins deep in the woods near a sawmill outside a small place called Maiden Woods. It is the kind of place where workers come in for the day, finish their shift, and head home before dark. But on this particular evening, something feels wrong. After work ends, the foreman is getting ready to leave, but a few of his men still have not returned. He tries reaching them over the radio, yet all he gets back is static. No voices, no answer, just dead noise. Now worried, he goes out to look for them himself. As he searches through the area, he spots a radio lying near a tree. At first, that does not seem too strange, but when he steps closer, he suddenly freezes in horror. The radio is still clutched in a severed human hand. Then it gets even worse. Blood is dripping down from the tree above him. Completely terrified, the foreman rushes back to his vehicle, desperate to get out of there. But before he can escape, some unknown creature attacks him and kills him brutally. Not far from there is the quiet little town of Maiden Woods, a peaceful place where everybody knows each other. The town sheriff is Paul Shields, a decent and responsible man who takes his job seriously. But while he looks steady on the outside, his personal life is falling apart. Sometime earlier, Paul's younger son Tim died in an accident. That tragedy shattered the family. Since then, Paul and his wife Susan have been living apart, and Susan is staying with her mother. Their other son, Adam, is deeply affected by the separation and clearly misses the way things used to be. The next day starts like any normal day. Paul and his deputy, Donnie Saunders, go out to check a complaint at a farm. An older farmer named Ron insists that one of his horses has been stolen. Paul and Donnie do not take it too seriously at first. They assume Ron may have left the gate open and the horse simply wandered off. But Ron seems genuinely angry, which makes it harder to dismiss. As they are leaving, Donnie notices Ron's daughter, Claire. It is obvious he likes her, but Paul warns him to be careful. Apparently, Ron once shot a man who got a little too interested in her. That line adds a little dark humor, but it also tells us this town is not as harmless as it looks. Later that evening, Paul goes to pick up Adam so the boy can spend the weekend with him. Adam still loves his father, but things are different now. Their relationship feels strained, and Adam even jokes about Paul's terrible cooking, which shows they still have some bond left, even if life has become awkward and painful. While they are talking inside the house, Adam suddenly notices something outside. He tells Paul he saw something moving near the house. At first, Paul assumes it is just Adam's imagination, but to reassure him, he steps outside with a flashlight and checks the area. He hears movement in the bushes, like something is hiding there and watching them. Paul calls out and says, "This is the sheriff's house. Whoever is out there, come on out." But there is no answer. Maybe it was just an animal. Maybe not. Paul goes back inside, but that uneasy feeling stays with him. That night, while putting Adam to bed, Paul glances at the empty bed that belonged to Tim. In that quiet moment, you can feel how much grief still hangs over this house. The next morning, Donnie comes to Paul with something strange. Outside Paul's house, there are unusual footprints in the ground. Paul looks at them and realizes these are not normal animal tracks. They are bipedal footprints. In simple words, whatever made them seems to walk on two legs. That is what makes them so disturbing. Donnie says he found similar tracks near his own house, and more have been seen across town. People are starting to get nervous. When Paul goes out to check for himself, he sees that the same prints appear in different parts of Maiden Woods, almost as if something moved through the town during the night, circling people's homes before heading back toward the forest. Once the townspeople notice them too, the mood begins to change. Fear starts spreading. Paul and Donnie follow the tracks into the woods, but eventually the trail just stops. The prints disappear in a strange spot, and nearby they find claw marks carved into a tree. That only makes things more unsettling because now it feels less like a prank and more like something they cannot explain. Back at the station, worried townspeople gather outside, wanting answers. Paul contacts the Forest Service and asks whether any known two-legged animal lives in the area. The answer is no. Nothing like that should exist there. Paul still tries to stay calm and suggests someone may be trying to scare the town with an elaborate prank. Donnie is not fully convinced. He points out that if this is a prank, then someone went to a lot of effort and somehow left no human footprints behind. Even so, Paul does not want panic spreading, so he tells everyone not to overreact. According to him, someone is probably trying to make fools of them, but the problem is getting bigger. It is not just Ron's missing horse anymore. The local priest's dog has also disappeared. Then more pets begin going missing from around town. At that point, it becomes hard to believe this is random. Something is clearly happening, and it seems to be coming from the woods. When Paul stops at the grocery store, people stare at him with growing frustration. In their eyes, the missing animals and the strange tracks are connected, and the sheriff still does not have answers. Claire, who works there, tells Paul that her father believes some kind of creature has come out of the forest. Another man in town, Jim, starts tying it all to an old, scary legend, which only makes everyone more uneasy. Paul again tries to calm things down, saying somebody is probably playing tricks on them. But right after that, his friend Earl, an experienced hunter, tells him something that is much harder to brush aside. Earl says that for miles around, there is barely any wildlife left in the forest. No deer, no normal movement, nothing. It is like the animals have abandoned the area. And according to Earl, that is not normal at all. That detail matters, because when all the animals suddenly disappear, it usually means one thing. A new predator has entered the woods and everything else is running from it. Later that evening, while Paul is driving Adam home, the boy suddenly notices something again out on the road. But this time, it is not just Adam. Paul also catches a glimpse of something moving in the darkness. He quickly grabs a flashlight and goes looking for it, searching the area carefully, but whatever it was has already vanished. The only thing he finds is part of Ron's horse's tack, which is enough to tell him that the missing horse did not just wander off. The next day, Paul and Susan are called to Adam's school. The staff says Adam has been repeating a certain word again and again, and he has also been talking about his dead brother, Tim. Paul and Susan do not treat it as a major warning sign, but it clearly shows that Adam is still carrying a lot of pain inside. He is not just frightened by what is happening outside. He is also still haunted by what happened to his family. After that, Susan gently tries to reach Paul. She tells him that if he wants, maybe they can still find a way back to each other. She is basically asking him to open up and say what is in his heart, but Paul cannot do it. He has so much guilt and grief inside him that when the moment comes, he has no words. Around the same time, Donnie is talking with Earl at the bar. Earl tells him an old story passed down from his Native American grandmother. According to that legend, there is a dark creature that lives in the woods, something ancient that hates human beings. Earl says it is older than the town, older than the people living there, maybe even older than history anyone remembers. He also says strange incidents like this have happened before. Then he brings up an old unsolved case. Years ago, a boy disappeared, and later his body was found hanging from a tree deep in the woods, around 10 meters off the ground. No one ever figured out how it got there. No one ever solved the case. Hearing that makes Donnie even more uneasy, because now the situation no longer feels like a prank or just a wild animal attack. It feels like something much darker may have been hiding in those woods all along. That night, Claire calls Paul and Donnie to the farm. When they arrive, Ron is panicking, and Claire is trying to wrestle a gun away from him. Ron insists that his horses are terrified, more frightened than he has ever seen them before, and he believes something is out there. He says he needs the gun to protect himself. Donnie calms him down and takes the weapon away before things get worse. Then, without warning, one of the nearby streetlights is smashed. Something is definitely out there. Paul and Donnie draw their weapons and move toward the barn. Inside, they catch sight of a shadowy figure rushing away at incredible speed. They do not get a full look at it, but near the door they find large claw marks. That tells them one important thing. Whatever they are dealing with is not small. It is powerful, fast, and strong enough to rip through wood like it is nothing. By now, strange rumors are spreading all over Maiden Woods, and even Paul, who kept trying to stay rational, is beginning to believe this may be some kind of dangerous, unknown predator. Donnie even floats the idea that maybe it could be something like a species people thought was extinct, or perhaps some creature humans have never properly discovered. It sounds crazy, but at this point, normal explanations are starting to fail. Soon after, 3 hunters go into the forest. Only one of them comes back alive. His name is Robert. He returns to town shaken and terrified and tells the sheriff that they were attacked in the woods. Paul and Donnie immediately head out to investigate the scene for themselves. When they get there, they find blood everywhere, but then they look up and are horrified. Pieces of human remains are hanging in the trees. That is the moment when Paul fully understands the truth. This is not a normal animal. He contacts the Forest Service again, but they tell him it will take about 24 hours before help can reach the town. That is already bad enough. But there is another problem too. A major snowstorm is moving in fast. In other words, Maiden Woods is about to be isolated with a deadly creature still hunting nearby. While searching the woods, Paul also finds badly torn animal carcasses. Their bodies are ripped apart in a way that does not look like the work of an ordinary predator. And at one point, Paul finally catches a brief glimpse of the creature itself. Even from that short look, he can tell one thing very clearly. It does not move or behave like a simple beast. There is intelligence in the way it stalks, watches, and waits. One night, Paul is at home with Adam when a loud noise suddenly wakes them up. The creature is outside the house. Realizing the danger, Paul rushes Adam into the bathroom and hides with him there. Then they hear something breaking inside the house. The monster has gotten in. The film still avoids showing it clearly, but we do see parts of it, especially its large, strange feet, and that actually makes the scene more unsettling. Sometimes showing less makes the fear stronger. Inside the bathroom, Paul and Adam stay completely still. Then they hear it. Something is climbing the stairs. The creature somehow knows exactly where they are hiding. It stops right outside the bathroom door. Before that moment, Paul had quietly radioed Donnie for help, warning him that something had entered the house. Donnie arrives just in time and fires at the intruder. By the time Paul comes out, the creature is gone. Donnie did shoot at something, but he never got a clear look at it. Still, he is badly shaken, which says a lot by itself. At this point, Paul realizes the whole town is in real danger. He and Donnie gather the townspeople and bring everyone to the church, which is the safest place they can think of. With the blizzard coming and the creature still on the loose, it makes sense to keep everyone together instead of leaving them isolated in separate homes. The people of Maiden Woods gather inside the church, trying to stay calm and give each other courage. Donnie sits close to Claire. Susan and Adam are there too. In a quieter moment, Susan asks Paul if the situation is really that serious. Paul, already overwhelmed, finally admits what is eating him alive. He says he does not think he can save these people. He could not even save his son. That line reveals the truth about Paul's character. He is not just fighting a monster. He is fighting his own guilt. Susan comforts him and tells him Tim's death was not his fault. It is one of the few moments in the film where Paul lets his emotional armor crack. But then, the peace is shattered. The creature reaches the church and starts trying to force its way inside. It slams against the doors until they begin to break. Realizing the entrance will not hold for long, Paul tells the priest to get everyone into the basement immediately. If that thing gets inside, the basement is the only place that might buy them some time. The townspeople rush downstairs, but Paul and Donnie stay behind. They know the creature will not stop on its own, and if they do not fight it now, it will keep hunting them. Outside, the monster attacks with terrifying speed. It injures Donnie badly. The storm has knocked out the power, so everything is swallowed in darkness. That makes the fight even worse, because the creature has the advantage. It knows how to move through the dark, while Paul can barely see anything. Then Paul senses it behind him. He drops low and tries to stay hidden, crawling carefully as the creature moves nearby. It is inside now, somewhere in the darkness. Paul pulls out his gun and fires repeatedly, but the bullets do almost nothing. Its skin is too tough. The shots barely slow it down. Then the creature lunges at him. With no time left, Paul grabs a knife and starts striking it over and over in the stomach and back. This finally works. The creature collapses and dies. Down in the basement, everyone assumes Paul must be gone. Even Donnie, though still alive, is not sure what happened. But when he makes his way back to Paul and they both look at the dead body, they notice something disturbing. There are no old bullet wounds on it. That means this is not the same creature they had been shooting at earlier. And then, the horrible truth sinks in. There was never just one monster. Paul and Donnie return to the others, and Susan is relieved to see Paul alive, but the victory does not last. Outside, there are more of those creatures gathering around the church. Many more. And if taking down just one of them was this difficult, then surviving a whole pack seems almost impossible. On top of that, the storm is getting worse, which means help may not arrive in time. The film ends on that chilling image, the church surrounded by multiple creatures in the snow, as if the entire town has been trapped and abandoned to whatever ancient evil lives in the forest. And that is where Dark Was the Night leaves us. Honestly, the ending works because it does not give easy comfort. It leaves you with that dreadful feeling that the real nightmare has only just begun.